So you guys know, and then we'll have some people in progress. That's May 29th. So Todd has joined us from Legal Shield, who's to talk about that and some answer some questions. I know we have some people with some have some exposure, and obviously there's some plans that could actually help a lot of people in real estate. So he's going to kind of emphasize the real estate investing. If you have questions, there's obviously other things, a lot of other things. I know Larry's trying to get on right now. Larry signed up to do the commercial truck driving, the
Oh
drivers
yeah.
program. So Larry is trying to make it tonight, but I forget if he's. I don't know. Stan, did you see that post from Larry? I'm trying to see that. I think he was. I think he may be at a truck stop tonight. So I think he was going to try to like if he could get Wi-Fi, he'd try to get on. He just said it just depended on where he's at with his truck. And he's been in the real estate in our group since 2020. He just doesn't have a lot of time. Like he just closed a 5 unit building. So cool. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Todd and Stan, and then Zeke and Jess. If you guys got any questions or anything, that's cool. I think we have a couple more people that are in progress that might be coming on. And then, like I said, I'll try to get this video out to the group. And then just so everybody knows, I'm gonna basically when we're done with the legal shield, that I'm gonna stop the recording and then I'm gonna start the recording and then I'll go into our reindeer and associate stuff that I've got that update for you. And I've got two things pulled up for that I'll pull up on share screen. But Todd, yeah, floor is yours.
Okay, Stan, you want me to take it, or do you have something to?
No, yeah, just Todd Doyle, fantastic, our trainer out of Northern California, soon to be Idaho, Washington area. But we just kind of talk a little bit about the fantastic benefits of Legal Shield and how they also go amazingly with what we do in the real estate field. Take it away, Todd.
Awesome. You know what? Stan is pretty awesome. So is Nate. But I got to tell you a little story about Stan really fast. And this is for Zeke and Jesse, since you guys are victims to be on here. Stan's used the service so many times that I think a lot of times he forgets how many times he's used it because he sends over contracts. And he was just telling me the other day he had a problem with a contractor that was messing around, not doing what they're supposed to do by the contract. The law firm sent off a letter. I mean, it's pretty crazy how easy it is to use the service, right? Sometimes we forget about that because I think we've all been kind of taught that every time you call an attorney, you're going to get charged money, right? And I don't know what's the average real estate attorney charge you, Zeke, to take care of all your stuff.
I haven't had any dealings with real estate attorneys yet.
Okay. Okay, well that's good. But we know that it's probably nationwide somewhere between $300 and $500 and up, depending on the circumstances. So being able to utilize this service to have them take care of, answering questions or helping out when there's a problem, or when sometimes when things start to go sideways, having that layer of protection there can be pretty valuable. So you're not having to come out of pocket, or worse yet, having a deal ruined, and you wind up not making your profit margin that you were looking for because of something you didn't even plan on. So definitely having access to attorneys could be pretty valuable. You guys, I'm just going to share a couple of slides really fast. Let me get this going for you. Make sure I got the right one. There we go. You know what? Basically, Legal Shield has been around for about 53 years. So we kind of know what we're doing. We protect almost 5 million people nationwide. Now, I love the fact that there's no contract. What does that mean? It's a subscription-based model. That means almost 5 million people come back every month because we're doing something right. We don't hold you hostage. If it doesn't work for you, you don't like the service, you just send an email that says, I'm out, I quit, I don't want any more. They turn everything off, no harm, no foul. I like that. We could literally do thousands of dollars of legal work for you. And if we don't do it right to your satisfaction and make you happy, you can opt out instantly. Our vision is to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice to everybody. I don't know about you, Nate, but before I learned about Legal Shield, I thought justice was only for people who could afford it. If you could afford to plop down 10,000, 20,000 or more dollars, then the rules kind of changed for you. I mean, look at the OJ Dream Team, right? I mean, if you could afford to plop down $1 million, you could get away with murder. I'm not telling you that's the way to do it. I'm just kidding. But would you all agree if you could remove the financial constraints that dealt with dealing with a law firm, that would be valuable? Then the conversation would be based upon giving you excellent legal service taking care of all your questions, helping you file paperwork, defending your rights, rather than the billable hour. And so most brick and mortar attorneys are only concerned about one thing: how many billable hours can I get out of this client? Because that's the only way they get paid. That's their only business model. There's no other business model for a brick and mortar law firm. We are completely different. As a matter of fact, the chairman of the American Bar Association said that we were the paradigm shift that the legal industry needed to put integrity back into the law. I love them, right? When you have the chairman of the American Bar Association giving us that kind of a review, well, how do we do it? Well, it's simple. We crowdsource. So you have about those 4.5 million people. They all pay into the big pot of money. We take that money and we go out, and with a third of that money, we pay all of our law firms. We take a third of that money to pay our associates, and we take the last third to keep the big engine running with our home office, right, and all of our systems. And so through that shared economy process, you're able to purchase unlimited access to law firms nationwide. So even though Nate might live in one state and Zeke lives in another state and Stan lives in another state, every one of you are going to have access not just to the attorneys in your state, but the attorneys in every other jurisdiction in the United States, which it could be pretty powerful. This really makes sense to people in real estate, because if you're doing real estate out of where you live and somewhere else, you know that you have a law firm that knows that jurisdiction. They know the laws in that area, and they're going to be able to take care of you. Now, we offer an entire portfolio of services. I could go over all of these, but just to highlight a couple of them, I know that we do business plans. I think Nate mentioned there's somebody getting a commercial driver's plan because they drive big rig trucks. We have a solution for everybody's legal need, and I'm happy to go over what all of these are more in depth if you have questions with all of that. We even have a gun owner's plan, which is pretty cool. We also offer it as an employee benefit for large companies. These are the same companies like Tesla, Microsoft, Facebook, Costco. They offer this as an employee benefit to their folks. Why? They vetted us. They know that we do exactly what we say we're going to do. Now, I know that every business has certain legal challenges, and we didn't come up with these things on this list by happenstance. What did we do? We polled our law firms and we asked, what are business owners using our legal services for? And literally in order, this is exactly the number 1 through, I don't know, whatever that is, 12, the top items that every single one of our businesses are calling in and getting help with. So if you have any of those issues that you see up there that would be effective to your business, know that our law firms would cover that. I personally think that in real estate, the number 1 issue is contract and document reviews. Why? We're constantly doing paperwork. Everybody's signing somewhere, and you got to make sure it's right. I had mentioned Stan earlier. He had a problem with a contractor. Had he not had a signed contract, had he not had the provisions in that to make it enforceable, and better yet, have his law firm review it, he could have had a huge delay, which would have cost him a ton of money. But instead, they were able to hit fast forward right to the "you're in violation of the contract, buddy, and we're going to go to war to defend you." And I love the fact that our law firms are constantly doing that. Now, I'm just going to highlight very quickly our small business plans, and we can ship all this out so you guys can review it. Our business plans go all the way up from 200 plus employee plans all the way down to, mom and pop or operating out of your garage, if a home-based business plan. They all have advantages. The only thing I want to really mention here is we can grow with you. Let's say you're starting out, you don't have any employees. That's okay. Maybe our home-based business plan would be best for you. But now you're starting to get some employees, we can grow with your business and help you at every stage of the way. Now, all of these plans include things like unlimited consultations, writing letters, reviewing contracts. We do everything from doing trademarks and copyrights all the way up to doing employee handbooks. So you can see we have every level of the way that you might need to help protect you. We could sit down with you individually, figure out which one of these would work best for you and get you enrolled. Now, I'm just going to highlight our preferred legal plan. Now, our preferred legal plan covers not just you, but your spouse and any eligible dependent children all the way up to the age of 26. It's, again, unlimited consultation on all personal matters, unlimited phone calls and letters written on your behalf, document reviews, residential loan document reviews, residential tenant leases. Do any of these sound familiar to you guys in the world of real estate? Absolutely, right? Now, this is to protect you just as a person. Can you imagine if you were able to share this with somebody else and help them benefit if they were going through some sort of a crisis dealing with one of those matters? For example, we had a young lady that called and she was had a huge issue with her landlord. And she's like, oh my gosh, this doesn't seem right. There's a problem. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. We got her on the phone with an attorney that afternoon. That attorney the following day was able to make a phone call to the landlord and work out some very serious issues. Now, not only was the young lady able to stay where she's at, but she's also ensured that she's going to get her deposit back when she leaves because her entire lease terminates in about 45 days. So she was really worried she's going to get out early, lose her deposit, all these other things, and she had done nothing wrong. So very powerful knowing that you have an attorney on call at all times. The other thing is we do all of your estate planning updates. Now, this could be very important, especially to real estate investors if you're working within trusts or working within LLCs or S corps to hide or layer your protections for your business. Why is that important? Because you want to make sure that all your estate planning is also layered accordingly. That way, should something happen to you, you know that your family's going to be protected. Your assets are going to go where you want them to go. We do traffic ticket assistance. Jesse, that does not mean you get to drive faster, but it definitely means that we'll defend you in court. Property damage, if you are in an accident or if you need to recover money from somebody else, we'll help you do that. Civil trial defense, we protect you if somebody sues you. The I tripped on your sidewalk out front no longer cuts it. Why? Because you have a prepaid 60 hours of coverage to protect you to go to court to defend who you are. IRS audit assistance. Now, I will tell you, we've actually called and talked to a tax attorney every single year, not about getting audited, but about what do we need to do to prevent us from being audited, right? As a home-based business, running our business, we call in and I want to know what all the new laws are. If you guys aren't watching all the new laws and how they're changing things right now, this could be very powerful because if you simply check a couple of different boxes, it could mean the difference between you paying a lot on your taxes or getting a refund. And I don't know about you, but I prefer to keep all my money or actually get a bunch back from the federal government. I'm very thankful for the services that our federal government does for us, but I want all my money, right? I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to leave money on the table. We also do family law after a 180-day waiting period. There is 24/7 emergency access. I think that's incredible. We know that sometimes you need to reach an attorney now, like I mean right now, to defend your rights and find out what's going on. We do online notarization and e-signatures, all unlimited. Now, here's one thing that I will put into this. Your little spidey senses should be going off. If you're dealing with a lot of real estate issues and you have one of our legal plans, that means all your online notarization and e-signatures would be taken care of. How much is that worth, right? That could be a lot of money right there. And then a 25% discount on standard hourly rates for other things. This is like criminal activity. I don't think anybody here has robbed a 7-Eleven, but if you did, you would be covered at a 25% discount, right? Or if it was a pre-existing condition, maybe something happened 6, 8, 10 years ago, that's okay. We're still going to take care of you and you're going to get a discount. What I like most about that is that attorneys are going to tell you right up front what's going on. Hey, here's your choice. Here's what we can do. Here's how much it's going to cost. There's no BS. There's no, well, we're going to come back and soak you for $500 later or whatever. I mean, it's very straightforward. And when you have somebody that's working with you and making it very straightforward, definitely makes sense, right? As I mentioned, who's covered, the member, the spouse, any never married dependent children all the way up to 26, any dependent children under 18. We find this a lot with grandparents who are watching their kids, right? Their grandkids. We see that a lot. And then any physically or mentally disabled children are covered for life. We also have our other product called ID Shield. This protects your digital DNA, all the numbers in the world that make up whoever you are. We have your back. We got you covered. Some of the things I'd like to mention here, we just monitor more stuff than anybody else on the planet. We'll monitor the APN to your house. We'll monitor the VIN number to your vehicle. We'll monitor your library card. I mean, we got it all. Now, here's what's really beautiful about that. If we're monitoring it and should something happen, that's right, we will do whatever it takes as long as it takes to restore you to pre-theft status. That's an unlimited guarantee, which means we've never been hacked, we've never been breached, and we've never failed in restoring somebody should something happen to your data. We also have some tools like Trend Micro. This gives you up to 15 VPNs, a password manager. I call it a married saver personally. My wife used to go in and change the Amazon password, and then I'd have to go in and change the Amazon password, and then she'd have to go in and change the Amazon password. It was just back and forth all the time, right? Well, now, because it's cloud-based technology, We digitally encrypt everything, and when she changes a password, it changes it on all of our devices. So now I just do facial recognition. I log right in, no problem. I love doing that. We also have an entire suite of cybersecurity and device protection to cover everything from your smart TV to the intelligent devices that are now built into vehicles. I just used one. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, where you walk to the house and you started talking about something on your phone, started sending you ads, right? Have you ever had that happen? Well, guess what? Our folks will actually go through and they'll decrypt all of that and block it so that you won't get ads talking about hair dryers or wash machines or whatever you might have been talking about if your phone was listening to you. We do reputation management, identity consultation to help improve your status. We have full service restoration, as I mentioned. And then who's covered? We actually have a singles plan for all your single people out there and a family plan that covers everybody as well. We also have this huge value add called Member Perks. Stan and I was just up in Spokane, and Stan and I were able to actually use some of these while I was up there. But everything from discounts from your printing and Office Depot, they got discounts on Costco cards, Sam's Club cards. I don't know about you guys. Anybody have any of those? Anybody got a Costco card? Raise your hand if you got a Costco card. Zeke says no way. I know Stan does. Okay, well, all these cards are free. I mean, I don't know. Would it make a difference if it was free, if you're already paying $100 for it? Yeah, probably. I just went to the movies, to the new Stitch movie, taking my kids and a bunch of other people's like 5 or 8 tickets that I had to buy, right? And guess what? It was about half price. All I did was jump out of line, grab my phone, log in, paid $8 to go to the movie rather than $16 to go to the movie. So you don't have to use those services, but it's a great way to uh, cover the expenses of Legal Shield. Why? Because you get such a huge discount. I'm going to stop for 1 second right here. So is everybody still awake out there? You guys all still with me?
Yeah, and I was going to throw out that Larry joined us.
Oh, hey, Larry, how you
And
doing?
Larry's an associate. He's the commercial driver program.
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Excellent. Yeah, we're excited to be here.
Cool. And Larry, so definitely with you, we'll talk about it. But so Todd, Larry's got a few of his colleagues that he's going to try to like talk to you about coming on for the commercial program. So I
Okay,
told him we'd help him get him, do a presentation for them.
absolutely. Any questions so far on the services, on the Legal Shield or the ID Shield? Anything I could go over really fast? Okay, awesome. You know what? I always tell people if you go to a great steakhouse and you get great service or, whatever it is, anytime I get great service, exceptional service, I want to tell somebody. I want somebody else to know about it. I'm going to tell a quick story. I'm going to throw Stan under the bus again. I went to Stan's house about a couple months ago. Stan has a Mercedes, and I was trying to get around the front of his Mercedes, and I hit the little Mercedes knobby thing on the front of his car. The little emblem that sticks up, and it broke. And I felt really bad, right? And Stan goes, "Hey, don't worry about it. But that's not who I am. I feel really bad. I broke something. I want to replace it, right? So we went to his Mercedes dealer, the one that takes care of all of his vehicles. And I talked to the young lady there and I said, "Hey, would you order that for me? And would you put it on?" And she's like, "Absolutely." She called, I gave her my business card. She called me. She's like, "Hey, Mr. Doyle, I came in. Here's the part. I paid for the part over the phone. No problem. Took care of everything." Not only did they put it on his car, but, like washed it, took really good care of it, made it look pretty and all brand new. She sent me a picture, right? And I was like, that's kind of over the top. How many times have you asked a mechanic to do something and they just did it or they charged you or whatever? But not only do they communicate well, but they took a picture. They were showing pride in what they had done for me, right? But also showing me the work was done. I thought that was kind of exceptional, right? So don't we reward people when they do exceptional customer service? Since that happened, I've now referred that dealership to like 4 other people up there. And I'm like, no, 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 you don't understand. You got to go here. This is the place that takes care of you. And by the way, you have to talk to Amber. That's my girl. Go in there, talk to her. She'll take care of you. I think it's Amber. I might have that wrong. So Amber or Ashley. And so anyway, they did a phenomenal job. I love it. The reason I share this with you guys, if Legal Shield did an exceptional job at providing you customer service and take care of your legal needs, if Identity Shield did an exceptional job at protecting you and protecting your data, who do you want to tell? Everybody, right? And so with that, we reward people for telling people about and sharing our stories, and that's through a compensation plan. We have four different ways that we pay you. When you enroll a member, we pay you a direct commission. We have leveraged income. You tell a couple other people, like Stan told Nate, Nate told, Zeke. And from that, you have leveraged income. So every time Zeke sells a plan, Nate makes a little bit of money, Stan makes a little bit of money, I make a little bit of money, everybody's happy, right? There's a residual income. This is, I think, the most powerful one on here. You guys, I've been in Legal Shield for just right at 7 years, and we do not do this like high speed, low drag. I mean, we are very part time. As a matter of fact, I'm bouncing between vacations all the time. Stan will attest to that. I just got back from a vacation. I went to Lake Tahoe for 4 days. I'm home for 5 days, and then we're off to Mexico for a week, right? And so I'm always on vacation. I love that. But my residual income from Legal Shield is over $100,000. So if I don't even do anything else for the rest of my life in Legal Shield, I'm going to have over $100,000 of disposable income coming in for me to use for whatever I want it to be. Now, I think that that's beautiful because when you sell something one time and get paid on it for the life of the membership, that's pretty badass. When you do a real estate transaction, you usually get paid one time. And then what do you have to do? You got to go get another real estate transaction to make some more money, right? So how do you like to do one real estate transaction and then get paid on it for life? Yeah, that would be the hotspot, right? And then we also have a ton of bonuses that are really phenomenal. You guys, this to me looks confusing, but the reality is based upon our preferred legal plan that I showed you and our ID Shield plan, this is what you would make right up front. So as an associate, when you first come in, you sell $73 worth of product and you get a paycheck for $80. It doesn't sound like a lot, right? But you're learning the ropes. You do that a couple of times, literally 3 times, and they promote you to senior associate. You do it like 3 more times, they promote you to manager. Now you're making about $132. That's not too bad. But let's keep picking up speed. Now you do a few more plans, you're up to 178, 246. Pretty soon, like Stan's knocking on the door of executive director right now. We've been executive director for so long, I forgot when we weren't executive director. So when I sell a plan, I make $416. Now that's some considerable money. And I average doing about 30 plans personally, very part-time a month. So that's some good jingling to put in the bank, right? We also have these performance club trips. I love going on these, and you just enroll 3 to 4 families a month. That's a very consistent thing. Not only do you get bonuses up to $500 a month. I say, Stan, what are you making? $300 a month on your PC right now?
Yes.
Yeah, $300, and he's about halfway to going to 400. I think that that's pretty cool. But you also qualify to go on these trips. Our company, Legal Shield, is sending Stan and his wife Pam and myself and my wife. We're all going to go to Mexico next week. I think, what do we leave, Tuesday?
Yes.
We go to
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday, and we spend a week in Mexico, and they're picking up the tab for everything. Anybody want to complain about that just by selling 3 to 4 plans a month? No, I think that that's pretty cool. When we first got into this, I thought, no, this is only for people that know what they're doing. This is only for people that make top tier. It's not. It's really not. The very first trip that we went on, we had only been in Legal Shield 6 months. That's it. And we went on our very first trip. And I'm like, then that's all you have to do? Like, that's it? And we haven't missed one yet. So it's pretty cool. This performance club helps you earn a consecutive money. So what do I mean by that? Obviously, in your first year, you make an extra $200. So if you were an executive director on your personal sales plus your bonuses, it's about $1,400 a month. And by the time that you're over 3 years, that's all the way up to $1,700 a month. You guys, that's just on selling 3 plans. So sell 3 memberships and make almost $2,000 a month. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's definitely will get people's attention, right? Again, we have an entire wheel of opportunity. We have people that specialize in some things, like the commercial driver's plan. I think Larry was interested in that, right? As well as employer group sales. If there's business owners that we can go in and help those. So you definitely need to evaluate. Harvard Law says that there's 5 areas that you should evaluate before you get into business with any company, and they are the company itself. I think we've demonstrated over 53 years we know what we're doing. The product, I think everybody could agree, we have a product that everybody needs that is not out in the marketplace reasonably. We're definitely solving a problem. The need for it in the marketplace, Well, everybody needs this because financially, what's the other option? The brick and mortar solution? Are you going to pay $500 an hour or $10,000 down as a retainer? That's not a solution. That's a catastrophe. The compensation plan, I think I just reviewed it, and although there's a lot of dollar signs there, you could very easily see how successful you could be with that. And then the timing. I think that the market penetration right now for our company is about 3% nationwide. So 3% of Americans even know what we have. So if you just shared this with a few of your friends, you could see how powerful this could be and how you could make a ton of money very fast. So the next steps are we just sign you up to be an associate. It's a one-time fee of $49. That sets up a website for you. It gives you all the training, the whole 10 yards to get you going. If you were to do one sale, you would already be money ahead, right? Just one. So how cool is that? Pretty easy, right? And so there's just three simple steps. Number one, get enrolled. Number two, be an associate. And number three, decide if you want to get paid daily, weekly, or monthly. I pick daily because I love money coming in every single day, even if I don't know where it's coming from. So with that, I'll stop there and I'll just see, does anybody have any questions about the opportunity that I could help explain?
Cool.
Come on, come on.
And I'm going to be using it for my trademark. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
all I have to do.
a lot of folks are doing that. I actually have a client out of Reno, Nevada. They actually use the services to do their patents. And typically, right now, a patent attorney costs somewhere between $2,000 to $6,000 to get started. And when you're done, it's probably close to 20,000 with all the fees and everything when it's all done, right? He was able to utilize Legal Shield. They did his patent. It's already back, it's been granted, and he was under $3,000.
Yeah, because I've been getting quotes at like 2 grand on trademarks, but
Yeah,
I'll be able to do it for just the federal filing fee.
yeah, absolutely. You just pay the filing fees and they do the rest. As I said, most people just use it for the simplicity. Number one, call up unlimited consultations. Can you explain to me my legal rights? Can you explain this document? What do I do in this situation? Number two, having documents reviewed or contracts reviewed. We all know that that's really important. This could be especially important not just in the contracts that you're signing with somebody else, but in the contracts that other people are having you sign as well. And so, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nate if there's no other questions. And thanks for being on here, Larry. Thanks for being on here, Zeke. It's good seeing you again, buddy. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
yeah, cool.
Yep.
We'll if you get a couple of other people coming on. Yeah, we'll if you guys have any questions for Stan after Todd leaves or whatever, we can talk about it more. What I'll do is I'll stop the recording on this. So I save this separately, and then I'll start a recording and we'll go into our regular business, which I think is
Absolutely.
Troy joined us, Larry and Zeke and all that stuff, and Stan, so we can talk about real estate stuff.
Well, I do know this. I know one cool thing is we had our number one income earner in Legal Shield. His name is Brian Carruthers. He was a real estate mogul. His family owned the largest real estate firm in New Hampshire. Sorry, New Hampshire. And it was the family business. He actually left that to be exclusively in Legal Shield. They actually just had him at the EXP Con down in Florida speak as their keynote speaker about how Legal Shield and real estate should basically go hand in hand, and it just makes absolute sense. So, you guys, this is definitely a great place to protect your assets as well as maybe bring in another income stream. So I'd be happy to help out. I'm sure anybody could just share my information if you guys would like to reach out and talk to me individually. Stan is a phenomenal resource, you guys. You can always plug into him and he'd be happy to help you out.
Yeah,
Okay?
guys, and we have the messenger group set up now, and Todd and Amy are on there, so we can communicate. We can add you guys if you have any questions. If
Awesome.
anybody has any questions or any other situations, I mean, even if it's not right for you right now, if you got something coming up, some kind of legal situation or something, get ahead of it because it's a lot better to go pay, get a membership there than having to pay an
Oh
attorney.
yeah. Huge.
Yeah, yeah. So anything you're doing
Oh,
there. So cool.
okay, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Todd.
You
Appreciate it.
bet. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm gonna stop the recording, guys, and I'll start it again.